My name's Sophia and I operate Words Mean Business copywriting here on the Sunshine Coast. I'm going to talk to you about SEO, content and LinkedIn, making the most of the connection. We're going to start with a quiz, so grab a pen and paper or you can go through the answers in your head. And our first question is, what does SEO stand for? Search engine organisation, search engine optimization, search every organisation, or secret enemy operations. Next, what factors should you consider when you're creating content? The search intent, the customer journey, the content's purpose, or all of the above? How about the factors you need to consider when writing content optimized for search engines? Writing for humans first and Google second, metadata and keywords, headings, tags and lists, and all of the above. And finally, what does LinkedIn have to do with SEO? Everything. The two are closely related. Nothing. There's no connection. Something. There is a connection. Or you have no idea. Okay, let's go back to what is SEO. So if you said D, secret enemy operations, I like the way you're thinking, but SEO stands for search engine optimization. So it's about creating content, usually website pages, but also blog posts and videos and some other things that is built to rank easily with search engines, preferably on page one. So it's all about creating content that will be easily found when people type a query into the search bar of their search engine. Now, what factors should you consider when creating content? If you said all of the above, you'd be correct. Now, search intent is about what people are trying to achieve when they type something into that search bar on Google. So if you type in NetBank login, it's pretty likely you're trying to get into your Commonwealth Bank account and not trying to find a plumber in Maroochydore. However, if someone types in plumber Maroochydore, it's quite likely they're looking to find a good plumber in Maroochydore, and you can speak to that search intent with your content. The customer journey. So this is all about where people are at, and if you're writing content for people who've never heard of your business, it will be quite different to what you'll write for someone who's a loyal customer who's been using you for years. The content purpose. Again, there can be lots of reasons for creating content. It might be to establish your authority in a space. So if you are, say, a dentist at Coolum Beach and you want to show that you know your stuff, you would create content that establishes your expertise and trustworthiness. If you want to create content that answers search queries, that might look quite different. And you also can create content for the purpose of helping it to be found by search engines, but we're going to talk about that with the next question, which is what factors you should consider when writing search engine optimized content. And again, all of the above is correct. I don't have time in this session to talk about metadata, keywords, headers, and the somewhat more technical aspects of content creation. If anyone's interested, I'm happy to talk to you about that. I'll give some details at the end of the presentation. But what I do want to talk about, and most importantly, is writing for humans first and Google second. So when you think about content, you're writing it for people. You're not writing it for Google. It's people that are going to read it. It's people that are putting those queries into search bars. There was a practice around, and sometimes still is, where people would stuff keywords into content with the hope of getting it ranked on Google. But Google are pretty smart. They cottoned onto this. And now if your content is stuffed with keywords or shows other signs of what we call black hat SEO practices, it will actually be demoted and you can get a Google penalty. Besides that, it's humans that are going to use your products or services. It's people that are going to read your content. So write for people, and then you can look at some of the other aspects that will help your content to rank with Google. Next, what does LinkedIn have to do with SEO? If you said something, there is a connection, you'd be right here. First of all, if you write a great article, post it on LinkedIn, heaps of people read it, share it, and then go to check your website, lots of people going to your website sends a little message to Google that it probably needs to look at your page again and possibly rank it higher. Also, if you write a great piece of content, you can post it on your website, and that gives you more options in keywords and header tags and potentially more backlinks. If it's a great piece of content, people might link back to it, which will also help with search engine rankings. Now, I'm going to give you next some quick tips for writing great content. The first is answer search questions. So think about what your potential customers might be typing into a search bar. For example, if you're a business coach, someone might type in, how do I choose a good business coach? And you can write a great piece of content to answer that question. Then when someone types in that search query, there's a chance your piece of content will rank for that query. The next one is using headlines effectively. Now, this tip is based on a massive study done by a global SEO company called SEMrush. Last year, they analysed over 700,000 articles to see what factors helped them perform best. They found that headlines with numbers in, things like X ways to choose the best business coach or 20 best drought-resistant plants, those types of headlines had 2 times the traffic and 2 times the social shares of other articles. Those that were written as guides or how-tos, like your ultimate guide to choosing the right school or how to build the perfect retaining wall, they got double the traffic. So think about using those types of headlines. The next one is going long form. So from this same study, they found that articles that were 3,000 words or more got 2 times the traffic, 4 times more shares, and 3.5 times more backlinks than average length articles of 900 to 1,200 words. Now, I know 3,000 words sounds like a really long piece of content, and it is quite a long piece of content, but the beauty of it is that you can do a lot of these other things in there. So you can answer multiple search questions. You can use lots of layers of headings, lots of depth from H1 down to H3 or 4, which also improves the quality of the content. And you can repurpose it for full effect. So you might write a really long article, break it up into chunks and use those separate chunks as separate LinkedIn posts, or break bits out and put them on Facebook, or use it as a downloadable guide on your website. There's lots of ways you can repurpose that one piece of content for full effect. So I'd suggest you go for at least one really good quality long form piece of content. Another one is use lists, and this was another factor found in the SEMrush study to improve the ranking for content. Now, I hope that's helped. I just want to answer a quick question before we close. If you're wondering what a copywriter is, contrary to common belief, a copywriter has nothing to do with ensuring material complies with intellectual property rights. A copywriter is someone who writes the words to help businesses establish trust and authority and sell more of their products or services. That's what I do. So if you want to find out more, there's some contact details. My Words Mean Business website highlights my health and medical writing. The other one is a bit more general, but always happy to chat. SEO, it's one of my specialties, writing content that's optimized for search engines. Thanks very much to Marketing Broker for having me to speak, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the talk. Thank you.